very familiar with the town of Cutler Bay. So again, on behalf of the Mayor Mirabal, Town Council, welcome to Cutler Bay, and hope to ask a lot of questions. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have the great pleasure of moderating this evening session. I am Cassandra Arnold, your Deputy Chief of Staff for Miami-Dade County. I have the great pleasure of overseeing our equity and engagement, resident services, front desk operations, as well as our Black media and Haitian outreach portfolios. But tonight is not about me or the mayor, it's about you. It's about being an engaging civic participant in the budget process. It's about hearing from you your concerns. It's not transactional, it's transformational. So I want to thank you for being here with us tonight, spending part of your evening with us as we go through our pre-budget sessions, our town halls, tonight being in South Dade, and then on Wednesday we'll be at North Dade Regional Library with a Zoom option as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I pass the mic to our mayor, I just want to thank our elected officials, just a general welcome. Thank you for being here, along with your staff, as well as our county department directors. If you're here, wave your hand, as well as our staff, which of course you'll get to know throughout the occasion. And last but not least, if you all need interpretation services, please let us know, as we do have services provided tonight. And with no further ado, I want to introduce to you our mayor, Danielle Cava.
Well, good evening. Thank you for coming out on a kind of rainy evening. We're thrilled that you're here, and I know that we have quite a number of county staff to be able to assist in answering your questions, but we also have members of the public, and I recognize quite a few of you from our community work, which is great. And we also do have some elected officials in the house. We have the mayor of Florida City. Actually, we're the only elected official here. She's here. She's elected, and she has great plans for Florida City, and I think it's a real testament that you're here with us today. Thank you very, very much. And then we have some representatives of our county commissioners with us here today. We have Angelo Rebusco from Commissioner Beyond Orbis. Okay, there he is. Chairman Anthony Rodriguez and staff member Jasmine Renee is here. Renee Jasmine. And our guest collector Ariel Fernandez and Gianfranco Pupio. Where are you, Gianfranco? All right. Great. Am I missing anyone else? Oh, I'm so sorry, Jade. All right, very good. Thank you so much, Jade, for being here on behalf of Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. And we're in District 8, her home district, my former home district. So, and I have done town halls in this location and many other important programming right here. And so grateful. We have Eric Fliss, who's our director of this wonderful center. Thank you, Eric, for having us. Please stand just to be recognized. So if you have come to amazing programming, you should. And community programming, arts programming, all kinds of wonderful things. Thank you. So some of you know I'm a lawyer, public interest lawyer, but also social worker. And you know, I'm always giving myself new names. Engagement is my middle name. And so I'm very proud that we've been so participatory during my administration and have more than the required number of community sessions to make sure that our community understands what's happening with the county budget as well as other issues. And this is the first in a series. We're only doing 2 in advance of releasing the budget, so that's not something we always do. And the budget will be released on the 15th of July, so just next week. That's a proposed budget from me and my administration, but ultimately the budget is passed by the County Commission in September. So we'll go over those dates with you. But this, as they say, is like a pre-session, and then in August we'll have a series of 6 workshops throughout the county. Wednesday will be in North Dade. That will also be a session. So anybody who's not able to attend in person, we encourage them to sign up and get online. And again, our purpose is to provide as much information as we can in advance of the final decisions about the budget. hundreds of residents, indeed I would say thousands of residents have participated over now going into my 6th year as your county mayor. And so we're gonna continue, we're gonna keep it up. That is a very critical part of how we formulate our priorities. And some of you may remember Thrive 305 that I conducted in my 1st year as mayor, which is the most extensive community engagement process in the history of Miami-Dade County government. How many of you had some part in Thrive 305? Well, that's great. Okay, repeat your regulars. That's great. And that really has formed the framework for how we have moved forward, and we'll be sharing in the budget document a new strategic plan that very much grew out of that original Thrive 305 plan with 5 key areas. So the budget is going to be reorganized to comport with those priorities, because we do strategic planning every, how many years, Ray, Carlos? How many years?
5 years.
5, I thought so, just checking. Carlos Maxwell is really that strategic planning in the county. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, so let's get started. I don't want to waste time on the introduction. I want to really get into the meat and potatoes of it, or the tofu and meat and potatoes, as you will. Okay, what we're going to cover today, and there should be a slide. I hope I'm not blocking the screen. Everybody can see. Thank you, Cassandra. Okay, we're going to cover where we are, what's our budget picture look like this year, what are the impacts of property tax reform that has been proposed and to be on the ballot, what is in your county budget today and in the future, WISE 305, which was the initiative that I announced a year and a half ago to increase our efficiency and accountability. Of course, we've always strived for those things, but looking ahead, we knew that we were going to have to do more with less, if you will, and so we worked hard, and we'll be able to report on some of our progress. And then next step. All right, so let's hear. Okay, where are we today? Last year, how many of you were part of our budget town halls last year? Okay, that's almost everybody and you're regulars. That's great. And it was a very challenging year. It was the first year in which we had to incorporate fully, for a full year's budget, the new constitutional offices that had been approved by constitutional amendment. Also, the tax rolls did not grow at the same rate they had in the prior year, so that was a challenge. And of course, we're always going to do our very best to spend taxpayer dollars wisely. But last year, to get to a balanced budget, because we never have a deficit, there's no such thing. We can't print money here. So to get to that balanced budget, we had a long way to go. And we worked hard with the community and with our departments to make sure that we could have a balanced budget while keeping services intact. And we were able to do that using some short-term funding. And this year, not as much flexibility, so you'll soon hear some of those challenges. To underscore, we led with this last year. The constitutional elected offices draw from the exact same pot of money that general fund county government does. So there's no new money because we have new offices. So everything that was done in the case of 3 particular offices that had been done inside county government is now done independently of county government. And that is the sheriff, the tax collector, and the supervisor of elections. So when you create a new office, that's typically going to cost more money, and that is what it did. And so and we were not able to, when we prepared the budget, know exactly what the future would hold in terms of what they could spend or not spend. This year, we are anticipating that, and so we're not presenting to you a budget shortfall. We are presenting to you a balanced budget, but one that does include some serious belt tightening. Okay. So even though the cost of doing business has increased, just like it has for all of your households, right? Cost of living, inflation, that's the norm. We are doing our very best to tackle those challenges head on and streamline county government so that we can continue to provide the most critical services that our residents rely upon, and our businesses too, while keeping taxes low. Okay, our next slide. Yes. All right, here we are at a budget town hall meeting. Typical one, lots of people, very engaged, makes me happy. And so it has been my top priority as your mayor to be a good steward of public funds, to be accountable, to be resourceful, and to communicate with the public about how we're delivering services with your tax money. And that is why, with the support of the commission, we cut taxes, the property tax rate, 2 years in a row to the lowest rate in 40 years. And even though, people didn't always get the direct benefit of that, maybe because the property values went up so high, it was significant that we did it. Not all jurisdictions did it by any means, and we did bring the tax rate down very significantly to a historic low. And this year, in order to maintain a fiscally responsible budget, while continuing to maintain that historically low tax rate, we are continuing to provide an even leaner, more efficient county government. So just to put it into perspective, every day each of you sits down to figure out how you're going to spend your money, how you're going to stay within a budget, how you're going to cut non-essential spending to focus on the things that are really important to you, to shop for better value, to cut back where you can so that you can pay your bills are most important. So that's how we all live day to day. And for some people, of course, harder than others. Very, very hard to get by, and we are living in a time of increased financial stress across the country, but certainly in this county. We know that people are having a really hard time paying the bills and managing as the cost of living has gone way up. And we need to be held to the same standard as your government. We need to be responsible stewards. We need to make those hard choices. We have to live within our means. And so we have been building next year's budget in the very same way that each of you in your personal lives or in your businesses or in your nonprofit organizations are doing the same thing, prioritizing core services and asking how every dollar can be justified. So under my authority as mayor, I have directed all of our departments to streamline their operations. And in the case of the departments that are dependent upon property taxes primarily, right, that's our general fund budget, your property tax dollars, we have held them to a 3% increase maximum over the prior year. Now, just to underscore that, that's not what it costs to provide those services. We actually are built, unfortunately, like all of you, it's more like an 8% that it costs to deliver those services. So when we direct them to keep it to 3%, means they're gonna have to make cuts. So that's what our departments have done in order for us to present a balanced budget. To do that, we've had to continue to find efficiencies over what we've done in the past, and certainly last year. We have to eliminate any duplication. We have to delay lower priority initiatives, and we need to just deliver services as cost effectively as we possibly can. So here's some of the numbers that you can reflect on. Yes. Okay, so this is to put into context the property tax reform proposal, and we're just here to provide information. Okay, people will go to the polls, they'll vote their conscience, but people need to understand what is at stake, what the consequences would be of the proposal that's on the ballot. So what we've done is we've looked at what would be the impacts to the budgets of some of these general fund departments in the first year of implementation and in the second year of implementation of the property tax reform. And you can see these are very substantial reductions. This is different than what I have in my PowerPoint, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just look behind me. Okay, overall, the first year, this is projected for county general fund property tax revenues, $385 million loss to the county, which our general fund budget is, help me out, Ray, what's our total general fund budget?
$3 billion.
About $3 billion. So this is more than 10%, correct? Okay. And in the second year, basically it doubles, so more than 20%. So that's a significant cut to the services that have been provided, that people are used to, and that we've been delivering to great satisfaction, I believe, in our community. So just to name a couple, how many of you are particularly interested in animal services? We have animal advocates in the house? Yeah, crowd, wave, okay. So we're looking at a 33 million projected reduction in animal services in the first year alone. In the libraries, how many of you are library fans? Oh, good, we have a lot of readers. Of course, libraries do much more than provide books. The library, even though it has a separate millage, that millage would be decreased as well. So we're looking at, again, a very significant cut of 134. Now, just to be clear, these things will lead to reductions in our ability to pick up stray animals, our ability to provide adoption services, mobile adoption for the pets, for the libraries. Likely we would have to close branch libraries, close programming. Parks, how many of you are parks advocates, right? I mean, we all learned about the importance of parks, especially during COVID, when, of course, it was safe to be outside, and parks have become a high priority for our community. This would mean closing parks and closing parks programming. Transit. Okay, yeah, hands up, transit. Okay. By the way, transit is looking really good during the World Cup, wouldn't you say? Very good, congratulations. You're doing a great job. And we're gonna take lessons learned from that. Oh, we have Transit Alliance in the house, thank you. Yes, so this is very significant. This definitely will lead to cuts in routes and time schedules, employees, etc. Community services, how many of you are involved or concerned about social services, community services? Yes, I recognize many of you. Not our largest department by any means, but a significant cut as well to those programs. Cultural affairs, here we are at our wonderful Dennis Moss Center. Yes, yes, let's give it up for the arts and culture. So, unfortunately, again, not the largest of our departments, but we'll take a very significant percentage cut hit. Jackson Hospital, which is part of the county's service delivery system. Very, very big cut, very substantial cut. So, just to be clear, property taxes, we don't have a state income tax here in Florida. We're one, I think, 7 states without it in the country. Other states fund a lot of their local services through state property taxes. We don't have that, state income tax, we don't have that, so we rely on our property tax rolls. And we know that people are struggling, and so this was an effort to try to assist people, but in many cases, it's really the insurance that is the big hit for homeowners, not just the property tax itself, because we do have homestead, which helps a lot of people too. We understand the struggle, but we also understand these services. So we're just trying to make it clear, and we'll have more detailed information as we move forward. Okay, safety, fire. Okay. We have our fire chief here. We have many of our department directors here, but we have our fire chief here. I just want to give him a shout out because we just brought back our urban search and rescue team that went to Venezuela to help out. We have the best of the best, and together with the city of Miami team, they really provide comfort, and they are totally driven to help out. I saw them firsthand at work in Surfside, and I'll never be the same. It was incredible. So fire also will experience a loss of 83 million potentially in the first year and growing to 146 million by the second year. Okay, now let's look at how we break down the budget. These are the new categories, by the way, sneak preview of how the budget book will be organized. I'm very pleased about this. So thank you everyone who has made this possible. We think that this really correlates to things that people care about. We're going to build an economy that works for everyone. How many are for that? All right, that's been my priority all along. A big reason I came into office. Fiscal responsibility and efficiency. We've been talking about that. Obviously, we need to be good stewards of the public purse. Investments in infrastructure, right? We have to take care of things like the airport, like our transit system, like our roads. Unfortunately, not enough money to fix all those things, but we're doubling down. Certainly, we've made a $14 billion investment at the airport, just as one example. And we need to continue to invest. Water, we have the largest infrastructure program in the state's history for water and sewer. That's to keep our bay clean, to keep our water safe, and is very necessary. And by the way, we're putting out a memo very shortly proposing, unfortunately, a small increase in water sewer rates, and that is so that we can continue to maintain that infrastructure. And if we don't, we'll have to discontinue some of those critical projects that are required to meet federal and state standards. Healthy and safe communities, right? Safety first, healthy, including our mental health and wellness, so critical, and risk reduction and resilience. So those are our 5 priority categories, and the budget will be organized about that way. Okay, let's look at just a few comments about how well we've done on that. We are one of the safest metropolitan areas in the entire nation, and that has continued even with the new leadership at the Sheriff's Office. So kudos to our law enforcement that keeps us safe every day, and our fire rescue team as well, which is rated #1 large fire department in the country. Just saying. And we're also #1, this is a wonderful statistic that we didn't know about, learned about. We're #1 in the nation for small business openings. Yes, and of course we provide a lot of support to our small businesses. It's been a key part of my administration. And I want to acknowledge Mason. There's the guy just standing who helped put that all together for us. It's not at the call here. Strategic. Okay, we'll let you represent. Okay, great. All right, budget breakdown. So how do we spend your money? We have a capital budget and we have operating budget. And here we go. Can you see those numbers? I can barely see them on my slide. So about 37% are 37% or 4.6 billion of the general fund is capital. Is that right? Did I say that right?
35.
Okay, 35. And the rest is operating. You do the arithmetic. 65. Very good. I knew you're listening. Okay, now, on the operating budget, we're going to say roughly $8 billion. We break it down again between proprietary and tax supported. So if I misspoke before, this is the total budget. It includes the departments that are so-called proprietary, meaning they produce the revenue and they keep the revenue in the department. So that's, and we're going to go into which is which. So general fund uses the property tax dollars. The proprietary use other sources of revenue like fees. Airport, for example, everything raised at the airport stays at the airport, same with the seaport, same with our building department, our fire, our libraries have all dedicated funding. Okay. So that was 13 billion, of the 13 billion overall, a third is capital and the rest is operating. Okay. So capital expenses are for major purchases, our buildings, our vehicles, our public housing, our infrastructure and our equipment, and operating is our day-to-day functions, like how we deliver those services, how we pay employees and keep the lights on. Very bright lights here in the house. Some of our operating budget is proprietary, like I said, and that's roughly 77%. You told me 72, right? I was corrected. What's the percentage, Ray? Of operating budget that is based on general revenue, or property, yes. I have 77, I'm gonna stick with it. Stick with that. More details on July 15th. Okay, we're still working on it. But we are dependent on a fixed amount of revenue. That's the critical point. We just can't go out and print money. We can't just go out and say, give us more. So now we're gonna show you how your tax dollars are at work in the operating. I want to point out the purple sliver. Those are the constitutionals, which obviously we didn't used to have such a big sliver, but with the increased the increase in those separate offices, out of $1, your typical dollar, 14 cents on the dollar is going to the constitutionals from our general revenue fund, or property tax. And then the biggest share is, this is why we're changing the categories, because it's hard to really understand. Like public safety includes corrections and fire, emergency management, those are all public safety functions. They're not part of the sheriff's department, and that's a very large section as well. Economic drivers, that would be the airport and the seaport primarily, are the green sliver, a very large sliver as well. Okay, so let's find the sliver, if you can, on where do we fund roads, transportation and mobility. It's a little kind of aqua sliver, 8 cents on the dollar. That's why the roads are not in as great repair as we would like. And that's why we can't make major transit improvements at the speed we would like, because it's a small sliver of the budget. Does that make sense? All right. All right, let's go your tax dollars at work. Next slide. So we talked about the difference between proprietary or fee-based and the tax or property tax supported. Water and sewer, you pay a fee to water and sewer and you get your service. We do not subsidize it with your property taxes. So what you pay covers the cost. Same with your solid waste pickup. What you pay covers the cost of collection and disposal. The airport, as I said, the money stays right there, from landing fees, from the concessions. The seaport, the same. And P.S., you all know that the airport and the seaport are the largest economic drivers, not just in Miami-Dade County, but in the entire state of Florida. Okay. On the other side, what do we pay for with the property taxes? The constitutional offices, there are 5 of them. I mentioned 3, also the property appraiser and the clerk of the courts. They're rescued with a dedicated millage, but still property tax. Transportation and public works, I already explained how little we have to really do what we need in public works and transportation. Libraries, dedicated millage for libraries. How many libraries do we have now? We have 51? 51 libraries. Great. And new ones coming online. We're very excited about. Congratulations. Parks. We have how many parks? There's Christina White, our parks director, 309 county parks. How about that? And they're all different and they're all wonderful. Thank you. And then corrections and rehabilitation. You know, we are the safest, one of the safest jails, correction systems in the nation. We have received commendations. We have been free of federal oversight because of the improvements that we've made. We've launched innovative programming in our corrections department on reentry, to reduce recidivism, and to reduce any risk to our inmates and our employees. So, I tell people one of my proudest prouds during my tenure that you've done such a good job. Sharia Green is here, our corrections director. Thank you so much, Sharia. That's it. That's general fund. Okay. Fiscal discipline. Slide 10. Okay, this is where we got to work and we were able to generate in this year's budget $42 million in savings, which was really significant, and we have to thank our departments for really looking closely and finding efficiencies. That money we could carry forward to next year's budget to help us meet the operational needs. And on top of that, as I mentioned, we've directed our general fund departments in almost all cases to limit their expenditures to 3% above, even though their costs have gone up on average 8%. So that does mean reductions in programming in some cases, but mostly efficiencies. And so we're also asking our constitutional officers to do the same, to tighten their belts. So we're in discussions with our constitutional offices to help them bring their requests into the modern era as well. Some of them have requested higher growth, and we are working alongside them to come up with a balanced budget that will assure all of us that we're living within our means. So stay tuned, because that will be a big part of the discussion. Okay, slide 11, our priorities. Core services. People have come to rely upon. We're proud of our core services. We want to continue to provide them, so that is obviously what we focus on. We need to continue investing there, but we also need to find savings. And I'm very proud that we've been able to do that, and will continue to do in the coming year. We know that our community has priorities. We want to hear from you today. Shortly we will. I'm almost done with my presentation. But we wanted to share with you some of the challenges as we build this budget. Like I said, this is not our only opportunity. We will be having a series of meetings in August, so stay tuned to that. So here we go, talking about our essential community government services. So the trash needs to be picked up. The water is, we need clean water and efficient sewer. We need public safety, our police, our fire, our corrections, our emergency management, housing. I've declared that to be a critical priority in our county, and I labeled it in 2022 a housing crisis, and we have been really knocking it out of the park, hitting it out of the park. And Nathan Kogan is here, I saw him somewhere, our Housing and Community Development Director, and with the wonderful department, we've been able to build how many units of affordable since I started? 15,000? And how many in the pipeline?
Another 21.
Another 21,000 units of affordable and workforce housing in the pipeline. That is an applause line, maybe. Okay. Slide 13. WISE 305. I already gave you some headlines here, but we're still at it. And of course, we welcome your suggestions. There are more than 30 projects that were identified by our staff, by our departments, of how to improve and streamline government services. And here are just a few examples I'll mention. At our airport, we launched AI-powered wayfinding. And Ralph Coutier, our director, is here. Thank you, Ralph. So we have real-time automated support that ensures accurate information is available. People are getting used to it. And we do have volunteers and our lightning crew on hand to help out, but we also wanted to find other ways that were cost efficient to help make sure people could get around it. We also launched a new app for wayfinding at the airport through our partnership with 90 Day Innovation Authority. And in 1 month alone, since we started this, we've saved approximately 260 staff hours and handled more than 4,500 after-hour messages, because of course the airport never sleeps. So that is really important. Another example is in our Department of People and Internal Operations, and our director, Raimundo. Okay, Raimundo Gonzalez. Delgado, thank you, Raimundo, he's here. Okay, Raimundo, where are you? Oh, great, okay. So our fleet operations has achieved approximately $15 million in labor cost savings by performing maintenance and repair services in-house rather than outsourcing. So that one thing alone, $15 million. And we've also realized $4 million in fuel savings through procurement in a strategic way compared to retail fuel pricing. So that's right there, $19 million saved by PIOD. Congratulations. I'm also staring at Jay Fink, our Water and Sewer Director, and Ashley Thomas, our Interim Cultural Affairs Director. So if I pass by too quickly, I want to acknowledge them. And Ray Baker will be answering questions later, our Budget Director. We have, my goodness, okay, I got started, but we'll be introducing the rest of them as the questions come up. So we have maintained a strong fiscal position. Yes, I did want to mention our bond rating. I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but how much have we saved through our improved bond ratings? We're just putting out a memo on that. Just 1 minute, please. So basically, taxpayer money is saved when our bond rating increases. And our bonds have increased steadily since I've come in as mayor. I'm extremely proud of our bond division. And so we put out a memo to the board, or we're about to put it out, that highlights many millions of savings. Okay.
With the number?
Yes.
The financings we've done over those years have generated gross debt service savings of $847 million over the
847 million since 2020. And that's directly to taxpayers, right? Very, very proud of that work. Okay, so now looking ahead, what's going to happen? This is our timeline. In May, we got the budget submissions from some of our departments. And only, at this point, only the tax collector has not submitted. So of the 5, we have 4, and we have also made certain assumptions about the surplus. They cannot maintain a surplus, so if they don't spend it in this tax year, then it comes back into the general fund pot. In July, the tax the tax roll was released by the property appraiser. It went down just a little bit. So that is unusual, but we had to make further adjustments, tighten our belts a little bit further. And we are submitting our budget July 15th, and we'll have a precedent, and we'll roll it out. The millage is set by the commission, and July 16th, there's a special meeting to set the millage.
21.
July 21, it says last year. July 21, they will set the maximum millage. They could bring it down, but the maximum millage. We are proposing a flat millage, meaning not to go up but not to go down this year because of the challenges. And then in August, we get the tax collector's budget submission, August 1, and then property tax notices, trim notices are mailed. We'll have our public workshops in August, and in September, the first budget hearing is September 4th, and the second on September 18th, when the budget is finally adopted. So, we're going to go into our questions portion, and we will be aided by none other than our wonderful Cassandra, and she will go over the housekeeping for us. Cassandra.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we have some general housekeeping rules. We know all about courtesies and about being respectful of everyone's time, but we just want to set just some ground rules. So while I'm going through the housekeeping, we have our amazing staff that's going to be passing out some numbers. We got Melanie to my right in our Intergov team, and we have Jason to my left, our equity and engagement team. We have 30 numbers in the interest of time that we will pass out evenly on both sides. If for some reason we have additional time, we will consider additional questions. If not, once again, we have Wednesday session that will be offered both in person and via Zoom. So one person at a time, please. Please be cognizant of other participants and limit questions to 1 minute. There will be a friendly buzzer on the screen just to help you, along with our mic runners, as you're asking your question, which will give you an indication when your 1 minute is up. Now, if you're here with a group and you're concerned about, let's say, housing or transit, we ask that you be considerate and probably only take about 1 or 2 questions, and we can allow other residents to ask questions as well. Number 3, please respect fellow residents in the facilitation and note-taking team. And if you've already spoken at a previous, this will be, of course, for our future town halls. We just consider that you allow others to speak first. So without further ado, we will have, if you'll raise your hand, and those who want to ask questions, and it will go in order. So I'll call up question or resident number 1, and then of course, and as we're preparing, number 2, number 3, etc.
I'm sorry, it was okay.
And once again, if for some reason you're not able to ask your questions tonight, we have various department directors as well as representatives here tonight, as well as staff from our mayor's office. So once Melanie and Jason has indicated that we have our numbers passed out, they will be coming to you, so you'll indicate once I ask question 1. So we can start off. Are we good, Jason? All right. So question 1, as I mentioned, they will come to you and they will assist by holding the mic. Question 1, if you'll raise your hand. And then in Q, question 2, where are you? Perfect.
Thank you very much. My name is Dave Schwab. I'm an AARP volunteer. First of all, I want to thank you for your support of the age-friendly work in Miami-Dade County. The initiative has helped us drive meaningful improvements in housing, transportation, parks, community planning, while leveraging a broad coalition of community partners. On behalf of the 500,000 people over 60 in the county, as the population continues to age, would you support continued county funding for the initiative in the upcoming budget? Although I know it's going to be tough.
Thank you so much, and I am a lifer with AARP. I actually joined the first year I was eligible. And I thank you for your service. I'm not 100% sure where Age Friendly Initiative is in the budget, so Ray, is anyone on your team have a position? Was it one of the legacy organizations?
No.
It's not a legacy organization. Do you want to say something?
Sure, so, good evening, first of all. So Mayor, I think that your goal is, for the upcoming budget, is to try to keep all of the community-based organizations, as well as the arts and cultural organizations, at roughly the same level as last year. So we can certainly double check and follow up with him later to see if that was on any of the other lists that were generated last year as part of the budget.
Yes, and I do want to mention that it was actually one of the first things that I did when I was elected in 2014 as county commissioner, was to bring Age Friendly to our community development master plan. So I certainly recognize the critical importance of providing and planning for the needs of people as they grow older. Thank you. And our community services department does have a range of services for folks as they grow older. Who's here from the community services department? Oh, of course, LaToine Bess. Okay, our deputy director. So if you would connect after, and you can talk about it.
Thank you. So as we're queuing number 2, number 3, if you'll raise your hand. Perfect, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Kathy Charles. I just wanted to thank you for starting these conversations early. My major concern is the upcoming property tax question. I know that we have certain prohibitions against lobbying by governmental entities with these types of questions, but I do think that we should have a plan to provide information to the public. In my opinion, I think the proposal is very much penny wise and pound foolish. And I think when people have good information about how their county spends and provides services, they can make informed decisions. So I'm wondering what type of plans we have to get information out. And I think we should be doing year-round information about how our county dollars are spent.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate very much what you're saying. And it's true that we are limited as government in directly lobbying the public on public referenda items. So we are allowed to provide information when requested, and especially in a forum such as this that's publicly noticed and available to everyone, we can provide information, which is what we've started to do. Frankly, we've been very busy putting together our budget proposal for the next year, and we will be doing further analysis and providing facts to the public. There are also efforts, I know, outside of government to do further public engagement work. And anyone who's interested, I think, that is part of the general public and not restricted, we hope will get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. So ask question.
Mayor and team for putting this together. My name is Katie Wax, and I'm the co-founder of Debris Free Oceans. We're a non-empowering Miami-Dade to go zero waste. We're also the launch and lead organization of Zero Waste Miami Coalition. Miami-Dade has taken an important step towards zero waste by developing a zero waste master plan. And through the Zero Waste Miami Coalitions, our members have created many projects that can help with the implementation of that plan. And so my question is how will the budget financially support the implementation of the Zero Waste Master Plan, including investment in the community groups, local businesses, and shovel-ready projects that are ready to move this work forward?
Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you for your great work with Debris-Free Oceans, which is trying to make sure that we don't drop things on the ground, for example, that go into the bay and pollute the bay, our $64 billion blue part, and we have really enjoyed partnering with you on that work. It's a really important question that you raise. I want to mention that we have our Deputy Mayor, Roy Coley, standing in the back, so that will be under his oversight as well. We have our Anisha Daniels, our Director of Solid Waste Management here, so you can certainly follow up with them. We are going to be rolling out the Zero Waste Master Plan later this month, and it will be a participatory occasion to really look at how we implement a whole range of things. We'll be putting out a memo shortly. Use waste, divert waste, that's the best defense. And so I think it is a really good challenge to see. We have to do it in partnership with community. We have to do education and engagement, and that's part of what the master plan really underscores. So it's organizations like yours that can really help us to get out the word. Thank you. And with that, I just want to mention, we have some other chiefs in the room. Chief Arnold Palmer is here. Where's Chief? There he is. And he is, just if you can stand to be recognized too, he is responsible for our public safety portfolio, which includes fire, medical examiner, corrections, emergency management, and recently added housing and animal services and, did I get it?
Community services.
Community services, right. It's public safety too, right, you got it. Okay, very good, thank you. And we have another, Carla Denise, who's our chief over administrative services, was not able to be with us tonight, but her departments are all represented here. Her responsibilities include the budget, so very, very important. Very good.
Thank you. And I also want to recognize, not sure if Robert Villar is still here from the clerk's
Yes, I
office.
saw Robert. Oh. Yeah, he's not with, right? I was like, what are you talking about?
Well, we want to thank you for still being here. So while we're queuing, while we're going to ask for question 4 is number 5. Okay, perfect. Good evening, Madam Mayor and County staff. My name is Natalie Herodon, and I serve as Director at Jewish Community Services in South Florida. For 107 years, JCS has been a vital part of Miami-Dade County's safety net, helping older adults age safely and independently by connecting them with balanced meals, case management, and critical support services that improve quality of life. As food insecurity continues to affect many seniors on fixed incomes, GCS provides a lifeline that helps ensure vulnerable residents have access to nourishment and resources to live with dignity. As a proud Advocacy Collective member of Legacy CBO, we respectfully ask that you prioritize continued investment in Legacy CBOs. Funding for CBOs enables organizations to leverage external funds, resulting in approximately $15.2 million in additional funding across the Advocacy Collective. Sustained funding ensures that organizations like GCS can continue meeting the growing needs of the community and the most vulnerable residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And Ray Baker, our budget director, did mention that it is our plan to include at current levels those that were funded last year. There are going to be stressors on the budget, so stay tuned, everyone. We recognize the importance of our partnership with community groups and wish that we had more funds to be able to continue with competitive funding pool, and unfortunately that is not possible this year.
While we have question 5 and 6, if you would raise your hand.
Good evening. My name is Rizia Hayes. I'm from the Arts and Business Council of Miami, Mayor Cava, and also the county commissioners that are here. Thank you for the work that you did last year to sustain arts and culture funding. As we're looking ahead to another rough year for the budget, could you share how arts and culture or cultural affairs will be considered or prioritized with the proposed budget, and if there's a long-term strategy or commitment to keep those investments stable?
Yes, thank you. And by the way, I want to commend our arts community, our nonprofit community for very effective organizing and mobilizing to make sure that the needs of our community in those areas was well represented, which certainly led to the sustaining funding in those areas. We, of course, recognize that arts are critical to life, and here we are in this wonderful arts facility, and we are proposing, again, status quo funding, if you will. We also have a number of private philanthropists who stepped up. We are going to be approving, we hope, at the next board meeting, a $900,000 grant from the Miami Foundation to help to support funding for the arts. So that will go a long way. And we're also planning to do strategic planning for the future of arts and culture in our community. And I'm very excited and looking forward to how we can make sure that our unique and dynamic cultural and arts presence can continue to thrive. Thank you.
Number 6 is up, but number 7, if you'll raise your hand so we know where you're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Camilo Mejia with Cava, Miami. Thank you for engaging early in the process, just like you did last year. You talked about hard choices, cutting non-essentials, reprioritizing. Of course, we're going to have to deal with this for many years to come. This is probably going to lead to a restructuring of the tax system at the county and resetting those priorities. I was just wondering, knowing that a full-on frying 305 is probably not possible again, but what opportunities will there be for community stakeholders, organizations, and community members at large to be a part of that conversation? And then also on behalf of our partner organization, we're wondering if the eviction diversion program is going to be funded again this year and at what level. Thank you.
Thank you, Camilo. And I heard was that little snap of a chord. I just want to mention that some of you might not know that Catalyst Miami was the organization that I helped to found many years ago. And I'm grateful for Catalyst's very active involvement in public participation. So Cassandra is our lead on engagement, and her team is present. Actually, if everyone on the engagement team could stand up and wave. Stand up, stand up. Here they are, very active. Some of them are out front, I guess. Okay, so let's invite you to have an offline conversation to really talk about how we could work together. Obviously, we recognize that Catalyst, by the way, Catalyst played a key part, having nothing to do with me, in the Zero Waste Master Plan, was a partner with our consulting firm to help make sure there would be public participation in that plan, which I think was really wonderful, bringing your engagement experience. So as far as a Thrive 305, that was an expensive program that was funded by the philanthropic community. I would love to be able to do that in the future, something that we could consider. I think we carried it forward in how we've managed public participation, certainly with the budget process, but I would like to do more. So let's brainstorm what we can do. Thank you.
Well, number 7 is up. Number 8, if you raise your hand so we know where you're at.
Oh, you asked about a diversion. Of course, I see here. We're going to pay services. But it is in the budget, in our proposed budget, and I'll defer to Ray to talk about the numbers. At current year's levels is a continuation funding. Okay, thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Hi, Madam Mayor, Marcel Lagars, also a community organizer. I want to echo Katie's thanks over the Service Master Plan. And I also, my main question is really looking ahead with these proposed statewide property tax cuts. What plans do you and the county have for potentially adjusting things within the county to properly kind of address the threat of consistently having to tighten the belt? And I know there's efforts to increase efficiency, but those efforts can only go so far. So I guess I'm wondering what the future looks like to prevent these consistent cuts from being necessary.
So we are providing public information. We started tonight right? This is our first public foray to let people know what the impacts could be. We will be producing more detailed information and sharing it on our platforms. We're not allowed as a county government to lobby the public, so we won't be doing active messaging, but in public forums like this, when it's part of the conversation, we will provide that information and we'll have it posted on our website so that it will be readily available. So we'll get into more detail as we move forward. County employees are all affected by that prohibition, not just me as an elected official. But as an individual, we have more freedoms. So you will see me actively communicate about this.
Thank you. Number 8 is up, but number 9, if you'll raise your hand.
Monica Rodriguez-Patanzio, Legal Services. I got my number before the last set of questions, so I will just say thank you for your support of CBO's and Miami-Dade election. Virginia recognizes the work we're doing in the safety net that we provide for the community, so thank you.
Do you want to give any highlights of some of the impacts?
I do, we're 8 months, well, in the first 8 months of the contract here for the eviction diversion program, we've served over 1,000 households. And for 80% of those that we take on for extended representation, we're able to either delay the eviction or avoid the eviction altogether, delay it until the family could move and avoid homelessness and a writ of possession, meaning, the sheriff moving your stuff out on the sidewalk, which is what happens to families.
And you do that in partnership with other organizations
Yes,
too?
we're collaborative with about 6 organizations, which Legal Services is lead, but we work with obviously Office of Housing Advocacy, but we work with 2 different bar associations as well as Cava Pro Bono and Community Justice Project.
Thank you so much. And we also have Dolores Holly here, who's the director of that office in the county. Where's Dolores? Here she is. So if anybody actually wants to talk about housing needs today, I guess you're 2 good people at least to talk with. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 9 is up, but number 10, if you'll raise your hand. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Heaven Jones. I'm also with the Arts and Business Council representing the arts and culture. My question is pretty short since you already answered Rizia's question, who is also my colleague. But I wanted to know, is there anything that we can do or anything else we can do as arts advocates to make sure our voices are heard and the public is aware of the future arts and culture cuts or other information that will be disseminated amongst the Miamians?
Yes, thank you. So we will put out information on how it will affect the property tax reform, how it could affect, and we already started giving you a little bit of information, but we will have that posted. I will say I am very excited about strategic planning for the arts, and we have support from the Knight Foundation, for example, to do that strategic planning. I think we have to think creatively, differently about the future for our arts community, and of course it will be a participatory process, and I look forward to having your active voice. You ready?
Yes, number 10 is up, and then 11. Okay.
Hi, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Irene Diaz from CCDH Advocacy Network on Disabilities. I came to thank you for engaging in this process so early and for supporting CBOs again this year and all the services to the community. And also to thank you for putting out the information. It's going to be useful. Thank you for saying that it was going to be on the website because it will be useful for us to educate the public in the importance of what we've done. We have served over 500 families this year just with the county funds and avoided people with disabilities having to go into institutions, avoiding families having to either quit their jobs or making difficult decisions to put people in institutions. I also wanted to ask to participate in that process so the voice of people with disabilities can be taken part in Strive 305.
Thank you so much. So, we'll communicate as we always do on all the opportunities that we see for participation. And I do want to say that we have done a lot in the county to increase access. We had special wellness fair access. Certainly we have a few commissioners that are very dedicated and have added programming as well as hiring apprenticeships for people with disabilities, but mental health, you know, is one of our key areas, and we have determined ourselves to be a no stigma zone when it comes to mental health issues, working in partnership with Susan and NAMI, and we're going to be putting together a plan to be even more active in promoting mental wellness, among other issues and concerns. So thank you.
This is number 12. En noviembre, los votantes tenemos la oportunidad clave de usar elecciones de medio término para exigir un cambio real y apoyar la eliminación de los property taxes que hoy presionan a la familia y obligan a mirar de frente las prioridades de gasto público. Porque Miami-Dade no puede seguir con el mismo teatro presupuestario de siempre. Reuniones, discursos, presentaciones bonitas, pero sin un número claro, sin estrategias claras y sin tener una visión real del futuro. Estamos hablando de miles de millones de dólares del dinero de los contribuyentes y todavía no sabemos con claridad cuántos empleados pagamos, qué metas concretas existen, qué resultados miden y dónde realmente se está gastando el dinero. Cuando no hay planificación llegan las medidas extremas y desesperadas, como hemos visto en el puerto de Miami, acciones tardías que parecen reacciones de crisis, no liderazgo responsable. Este año, la pregunta es, este año veremos cuál será la nueva excusa de la administración para hablarnos de déficit.
Gracias, señora. Thank you.
In November, voters have a key opportunity to use the midterm elections to demand real change and support the elimination of property taxes that are putting pressure on families and forcing government to finally confront its spending priorities. Because Miami-Dade cannot continue with the same budget theater every year. Meetings, speeches, and polished presentations, but no clear numbers, no serious strategy, and no real vision for the future. We're talking about billions of dollars in taxpayer money, and residents still do not clearly know how many employees we are paying, what concrete goals exist, what results are being measured, and where the money is actually going. When there is no planning, extreme and desperate measures follow, like what we have seen with Port Miami, late actions that look more like crisis reaction than responsible leadership. This year we will see what new excuse the administration uses to talk about deficits while continuing to spend without an optimal strategy.
All right, I'm going to answer in English for the public, and then you can translate, or I'll try to speak it in Spanish as well. So thank you for your concern. Obviously, we are talking about property tax reform here today, and we're providing information. And the information has to do with what those cuts would mean in terms of the delivery of services. So that's factual information, and people will go to the polls and they'll have their opportunity to weigh in. As far as not having numbers, the budget book provides numbers of the employees, of the goals, and I'm looking forward to the release of this year's budget because the goals will look a little bit different than in the past based on our strategic planning process. So everyone can take a look and see what they think and have a chance to weigh in our budget workshops on the goals and the metrics for achievement of those goals, as well as the dollars that are spent in each budget and the number of employees and so on. I think that answers it. Gracias para su opinión y aquí estamos con detalles, datos de cómo va a afectar si pasa esa enmienda y estamos con los datos, no opiniones y los votantes tienen que ir y decidir con su voto qué quieren hacer. Nosotros estamos diciendo el impacto de los cortes y el público va a decidir. Fuera de eso, nuestro presupuesto tiene los detalles de los personajes, de cada departamento, las metas y cómo vamos a medir. Y este año el presupuesto luce un poquito distinto, tiene otro
to odd number 11, and then we're going to end with number 14.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Cathy Santos with Transit Alliance in Miami. I want to echo what other community organizers and advocates have said in terms of thanking you and honestly thanking everybody here for coming out and being part of the budget process so early. I definitely is a sprint run from July 15th through the 17th of September. In terms of what you shared with the public today, in terms of a 5% differential of what departments may have in the past expected to allocate for or receive in funding allocation, an 8% increase as opposed to the hard line of 3%. On the side of transportation, I want to ask for every transfer rider in Miami-Dade how the county expects or aims to protect vertical bus, rail, and SDS service.
Yeah, thank you for the question and for your advocacy around public transit. Obviously, very important that you organize people who are transit users and who want to see public transit succeed. We are going to be tapping, as we did last year, short-term funding through our TID, which is the increased value along the transit corridors. That's one source of funding. It's not sustainable. We are not going to be proposing a transit fare increase, even though I think it's now 12 years without an increase. There will be some service adjustments. I can't speak to the details, but I think we'll provide more detail in the July 15th budget. I know Stacy Miller is our Director and CEO of Transportation Public Works, so maybe you want to get her to see a little bit more what we're thinking, how to do as little disruption to our current program as possible. You've seen, I know you follow closely, we have reduced some routes already that were low performing to be able to concentrate on the ones where we have the majority of riders. Anything else, Stacey, you want to add? We continue. Still a work in progress. Obviously a high priority. Okay, very good.
Final question. I got lots. Susan Boltzmann, CEO of the Miami-Dade County Affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. First, I wanted to comment and thank you, your entire administration, the team you work with, for focusing on mental health and mental illness in our community and the impact that it has, and working to address that, not only internally with educating our employees on a stigma-free workplace and a stigma-free county, but also in the various departments, including the fire department. We've worked really closely to understand CIT training so that people in the community are treated differently than they were in the past when they exhibit mental health conditions. Also, the funding of the CBOs, all of us work together to meet the needs of people with mental health conditions in our community, and by meeting them correctly, we actually save the community a lot of time and difficulty, which ends up being money. With the funding of the Mental Health Center, we're looking forward to changes. So we look forward to that continuing.
Thank you so much, Susan, for your leadership. And Susan was our mental health liaison in the mayor's office before she took the role as NAMI director. That position is now occupied by Brenda Lampon. Where's Brenda? There she is, waving in the back. So she's our lead advocate in the mayor's office for those issues, so please feel free to talk with her about your concerns. I also want to acknowledge we have our commission auditor in the house. That is Inka, with the last name I will butcher if I say it, so you can, if you don't mind, just stand up so we can recognize you. So his role is to work with the county commission to analyze our budget and help inform budget decisions of the commission. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'm going to pass the mic back to the mayor, but I want to just remind you, this is not your only opportunity to engage We will have continuous budget conversations in August, leading into September at our commission chambers for those who want to continue the engagement. But it doesn't even stop there. We have our Civics Academy. If you visit miamidade.gov/Civics Academy, you'll be able to continue that conversation with community civic leaders, residents alike. It's being housed at 4 locations at our amazing libraries: Westchester, North Dade Regional, Arcola Lakes, Naranja, as well as a Zoom-only platform. So we made it accessible, convenient, including 3 languages by request: English, Haitian Creole, and Spanish, as well as ASL interpretation for those who need it. So please learn more about how you can continue on your civic participation beyond the budget, but making it year-long and transformational. So back to you, Madam Mayor, for any closing remarks.
Yes, thank you. Well, I really appreciated the conversation today. Everybody's brought thoughtful points and was respectful. And I learn always to be when I'm with the public and hear your voices and your concerns. And we will continue to strive to address all of the issues that are near and dear to you. It is a challenging budget year, but we're up for the task. As far as the future is concerned, we need to do our very best to educate the public, and then the public will decide how to proceed with local government services. So we understand that that is now going to be before the voters. I just want to end by saying we have an extraordinary staff that's working every day to provide outstanding services. I'm looking around because I know I didn't get to recognize all of our staff leadership that's with us here today, but I do also want to particularly thank our mayor of Florida City, Charlotte Thompson, to sit through this entire meeting. Let's give her a round. And she's a new mayor trying to bring important improvements to Florida City. So if you're interested in partnering with her, I'm sure she would appreciate it. Why don't you just stand up so they can see where you are? So please feel free to touch your hands. Yeah, you're very welcome. And so let's just end by giving it up to my extraordinary mayor's staff in the mayor's office that put this event together, led by Cassandra Arnold.